Hi guys, Piotr here. This is Live Forex Global YouTube channel. It's weekend, meaning that we are going to discuss the crypto market. Latest profit taking, I would say strong profit taking, some ugly move to the downside based on the rumors related to the US regulation. Coincidence where we were testing very strong supply level, right? So this type of the information, in my opinion, well, you guess, you know my opinion. If you think that everything is fine, probably you are not long enough when it comes to the market. So everything ahead of you from the learning perspective. We are going to discuss Bitcoin, we are going to discuss Ether and few more. So guys, without a further delay, see you inside. Okay. Weekly chart of the Bitcoin. Well, as you can see, very long lower shadow, retest of this based on our chart we are using here, retest of the previous week high, and strong attempt to close the week much higher. If that's going to happen, basically taking into the consideration what we've already seen, it could be treated here on this weekly chart as a first phase. It was move to the upside, hitting the supply, all right, rejection from the supply, and the market is using currently the first level of possible demand to try to push prices higher again against this supply, and with this lower shadow, the attempt to break higher very quickly cannot be ruled out. Of course, the thing is there are few hours left, and in case we are going to get back below 18,000, that might not look that great anymore. So from that perspective, it's worth to wait and see where we are going to get the weekly close. Daily chart, here a little bit different story, which might translate into what I've mentioned a second ago, right? From the daily chart perspective, we are testing right now a very, very important level of the possible supply. So taking into the consideration this move to the downside, it might be nothing else like a retest of the demand, bouncing, and now it's all about testing the supply very, very soon, or taking into the consideration lower shadows. We already testing this supply. But from the Bitcoin perspective, I'm not a huge fan of selling this asset. I would rather go through a little bit different coins. If we are going to have a time, I'm going to mention one or two. Now, what we might see, right? It could be eventually, depends on where we are going to start to move at the deeper pullback. It could be eventually some kind of the one-to-one. If that's gonna be the case, so this demand around 15,200 could be in place. But if you do remember, I still expect, as I mentioned previously, I still expect retest of 14,000, number one, right? Levels close to this demand, as well as retest of levels close to 12,000. So how that might happen? Well, if we are going to treat this 1, 2, 3, of course, if that's going to happen as a one, right? And then we are going to see some kind of the rally, and then this type of the move is going to be to the downside, another 1, 2, 3, another drop, rally drop, all right? Like this. Drop, rally, drop within this one, right? After the bigger correction. So that could be the solution for this 14 and 12,000. Of course, 14 and 12,000 both levels or the whole zone is very well visible, and it's not only me who knows that zone, this level. So again, it could be that market may try to run away straight after the leaving the lower shadow on the weekly, based on what we currently see. So going a little bit lower from the intraday perspective right now, as you can see, clearly testing the supply, testing also from the fib level, testing above 50, so towards 62, 70 and 88, 78, 88. We will see how it's going to play out. I do expect the pullback, but I would like to use the pullback as a buying opportunity instead of trying to sell the rally. The next one is Ether. There you go. From the daily chart perspective, very similar situation to what we have with the Bitcoin, trying to build the lower shadow. But in case of the Ether, we also have a very long upper shadow in that case, right? So if we are going to close around the current level, we are going to have the high wave candle based on the weekly chart. It could be retest of the higher level and rejection, or first it could be retest of the lower level and then trying to move to the upside. So from the weekly chart perspective, it's worth to watch where we are going to get the close. Well, from the daily chart perspective, right, it's a little bit different to what we discussed with Bitcoin. All right. Well, this lower shadow and levels close to 575, that could work as some kind of the supply, and taking into the consideration eventually rejection, we are going to test 450, 445, the very important levels. If you do remember, we were talking about this as a wall of supply. After the breakout, right, retest, that could be the already buying opportunity when it comes to the Ether. So completely different story, a little bit change of the picture might be in place here. So, well, here I might try to fade the rally towards 575, 580, all right? And I'm going to try to trade it with the tight stop and with the target around 450, where I'm going to start to look for the buying opportunity when it comes to the Ether. So I don't want to short Bitcoin, but here with the Ether, if the price action is gonna be negative here, or maybe it's gonna be favor the sellers, I might try to join that party here with very tight stop. But definitely the first level of the demand around 445 I'm gonna to use as a buying opportunity. Don't forget, guys, if we are going give up 450, 440, right, the deeper move to the downside towards even towards levels close to 400 and 380 could be in place on the Ether. I'm talking about these levels, 400 and the levels close to 380. So that could be the second buying zone when it comes to the Ether. As I mentioned, one or two I'm going to talk about the possible short opportunity short term, and the second one after the Ether, it could be Litecoin, right? What I'm looking for when it comes to the Litecoin, I'm looking for selling opportunity on the rally back towards 81, 85. I'm talking about these lower shadows over here, right? So this type of the rally I'm going to try to use as a selling opportunity with the target around 61. That's what we already discussed with the breakdown, right? And that's how I see the thing, especially that if we are going to try to manipulate with the trend lines, right? We do have a very nice break to the downside. So for now, anything like this could be the selling opportunity, and also I've placed that one on the two languages on the trading view as well. So if you are going to see this type of the setup, it's mine, and so that's how I see the things when it comes to the Litecoin and possible short setup. With that being said, guys, be careful from the medium long-term perspective. Watch for the weekly close. Short-term perspective, watch on the Ether and Litecoin negative price action for the possibility to try to be with this next wave to the downside. Is it going to happen? I don't know. That's why I'm going to trade with the tight stops. Have a great rest of the day and see you around. Take care and goodbye.